Hare Krishna. We continue reading from the book Beyond Birth and Death by Srila Prabhupada. We are on chapter 4. In Vedic literatures, there's a good deal of information about the material and spiritual skies. I'm sorry. In the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are descriptions of the spiritual sky sorry, and of its inhabitants. There's even information given that there are spiritual airplanes in the spiritual sky, and that the liberated entities there travel about on these planes like lightning. Sorry, can you please give me a moment? Sorry, thanks. So in the spiritual sky, it's not that it's all empty, that there's variety only here in the material world. There's variety here in the material world because the original variety is in the spiritual world. And over there, as we have here, our material airplanes, in the spiritual world, there are spiritual aeroplanes. We are going to hear now in Dhruv Maharaj's story how a golden aeroplane comes to bring him. The Vishnu Dutas come in an aeroplane to bring him. So there are spiritual aeroplanes in the spiritual sky, and the liberated entities travel there on these planes like lightning. So it's not that in the spiritual world there are no living entities. No, they're in fact, the living entities are in their original forms and the spiritual form. Our real form is our spiritual form. This material form, we are keeping on changing as we keep changing our dress. We change our clothes morning, day, night. We keep changing our clothes. That's what we are doing here in the material world. But so this material body is like a dress, whereas each of us have our original spiritual form. And so here in the spiritual world, these liberated entities, they are in their original spiritual form. Everything that we find here can also be found there in reality. It's in their true position. In this material world, everything is like, like an actor. He goes to the stage and he performs an acting. He forgets who he is, forgets his home, his family, but he gets totally into the role, into the character. That's what we are doing here in this material world. We've completely forgotten our true identity, and we are getting into these different roles that we are playing. So the actor, in reality, he has a family, as a father, mother, but he is playing on the stage the role of an orphan. Yeah? And that's not the reality. He's just acting. He's just playing the role. So the reality is in the spiritual world, not here in the material world. We are very much here. It's not that we are not here. It's not that because many people say, oh, because this material world is not real means I'm not here. No, no, we are very much here. What does it mean it's not real? That we are not the body. Our identity is a spiritual identity. Here in the material sky, everything is an imitation or shadow of that which exists in the spiritual sky. As in a cinema, we simply see a show or facsimile of the real thing. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that this material world is but a combination of matter modeled after the reality, just as a mannequin of a girl in a store window is modeled after a girl. So this material world is a reflection. Srimad Bhagavatam is saying the material world is like a mannequin. We go shopping, we see their mannequins to show us how the clothes look like. It's not a real girl standing there. It's just a mannequin. So that's how the material world is. Every sane man knows that the mannequin is an imitation. Sridhar Swami says that because the spiritual world is real, this material world, which is an imitation, appears to be real. We must understand the meaning of reality. Reality means existence, which cannot be vanquished. Reality means eternity. So the material world is a perverted reflection, it is called. Now, what does reality mean? Prabhupada is saying. Sridhar Swami says that the spiritual world is real and the material world is an imitation. It appears to be real. So, but what does reality mean? Reality means eternity, something which cannot change, which does not change. That means reality. We are always we are always used in this material world, we are just used to the relative truths. It's true for some time, but after some time, it's no longer relevant. So, but the absolute truth never changes. Our real identity never changes. Nasto vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah ubayor api drishto antastva anyos tattva darshibhi. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, there is no endurance, and of the existent, there is no cessation. This seers have concluded by studying the nature of both. Gita 2:16. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 16, that those who actually have seen the truth, they understand that this material body, non-existent, there's no endurance. No matter how much we try to preserve the body, it's gonna go. No matter what we do, how much we try to preserve it, pamper it, take care of it, it has to come to an end. Of the non-existent, there is no endurance. And of the existent, there is no cessation. We cannot cut the soul. We cannot kill the soul. We cannot dry it up. We may pretend, okay, I'm not existing anymore. We may pretend that I've become the supreme Brahman, but yet we cannot, um, what do you say, kill the soul. It's always going to exist. That's what that's what eternal means. This seers have concluded by studying the nature of both. So real pleasure is Krishna, whereas material pleasure, which is temporary, is not actual. Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. All pleasure comes from Krishna. The real pleasure is with Krishna. Here in the material world, we do have pleasure, but it's temporary. And then we may enjoy this something for a certain time. Then we want to stop it. Then again, we will pick it up. Then again, we will stop it. It's called Bhog and Tyag. But pleasure with Krishna is eternal and it goes on increasing. Those who can see things as they are do not take part in shadow pleasure. The real aim of human life is to attain to the spiritual sky. But as Srimad Bhagavatam points out, most people do not know about it. So Krishna keeps repeating in the Bhagavad Gita, you just try to understand my nature and appearance, and you will come to me. You don't need to come back to this material world again. He says, you think of me at the time of death. You will come to me. You don't need to come to this world again. He says that many times in Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam also says, Prema Pumartho Maha. Prema Pumartho Maha, Lord Chaitanya says that. And Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that a transcendental loving service to Krishna is the highest aim of life. So human life is meant to understand reality and to be transferred into it. We are keeping on taking new bodies, giving it up, taking new bodies, giving it up. So these bodies we are thinking are our real identity. We identify with it. But that's not who we truly are. We are the individual soul, and the soul has an identity. The soul has a spiritual identity. That's the reality we need to understand. All Vedic literature instructs us not to remain in this darkness. The nature of this material world is darkness, but the spiritual world is full of light, and yet it is not illumined by fire or electricity. Material world is darkness. We'll say, how is it dark? I'm seeing outside is bright. The sun is out. I can see everything nicely. Why are we saying material world is dark? Yeah, but if the sun is not there, we won't be able to see anything. If we do not have the electricity, the lights, we can't see. It's because the sun is there that we are able to see. The material world actually is dark. If you'll have been somewhere, not in a city, because city there are too many street lights or lights coming from the homes. If you're out somewhere in the nature where there is no light and at night, you'll really understand, oh wow, how dark it is. And spiritual world is full of light. And spiritual world is not lit up because of the sun or the moon. It is naturally bright. That's the nature of the spiritual world.
But there is still sun and moon, right? The
Yes,
spiritual world.
there
There
is.
is still,
Yeah,
but it's
there
just
is.
sun
Yeah,
function.
for decoration purposes, to make the pastimes more appealing. But
Oh,
not that because the sun and moon is there, that's the reason there's light over there. No. Like here, we need the sun and the moon to sustain our lives, right? But
yeah.
over there, no, it's not for that reason. It's there because it's nice. It gives a feeling, oh, it's nighttime now. The moon is out. It's time for pastimes in the forest, like that. So Krishna hints of this in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita 15.6. Na tad bhasyate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. That abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. So again, we are seeing here Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, text 6. Again, he's saying, come to my world. You don't need to come back to this material world again. Come to my planet. My planet, you don't need sun and moon to lit it. And once you come there, you're never going to come back here again. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. So we should have this desire. Even I want to go to Krishna Lok. We have desires. I want to go here. It'll be so nice to see this. Oh, I heard this country is so good. Oh, I heard this restaurant is so good. Oh, I heard whatever. This place is so good. So we are hearing so many times the description of Golok Vrindavan. Somehow or the other, we should also get the desire. Oh, this sounds so good. Let me go there. Let me go there and experience how it is. The spiritual world is called unmanifested because it cannot be perceived by the material senses. Avyakto shara iti uktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode, Gita 8:21. Here Krishna is again saying it in chapter 8:21, that one who comes to Krishna Lok, he never comes back. He says, that is my supreme abode. He's keeping on inviting us. When we invite people, please come to my house, please come to my house. Here, Krishna is keeping on inviting us to come to his world, to his planet in the Bhagavad Gita. He keeps on telling us, depends if we take it up or no. But it's an open invitation to each and every one of us. Unmanifested and infallible. It's never annihilated, always exists. We cannot see it with our material senses, of course. That's why we are saying it's unmanifest. It is supreme destination. Supreme destination. We have so many destinations. We want to go here, we want to go there. But what is the supreme destination? The highest destination, that's Golok Vrindavan. Once we reach there, we are never coming back here again to the material world. So this destination is even higher than the Brahmajyoti, than the spiritual sky, because it's the highest planet in the spiritual sky. It is in the spiritual sky, but it's the topmost planet in the spiritual sky. And Krishna says, once one goes there, one never comes back again. A great journey is indicated in this verse. We have to be able to penetrate outer space, traverse the material universe, penetrate its covering, and enter the spiritual sky. Paramam Gatim. That journey is supreme. So it's a journey from here. Right now, we are in the material world to go to Krishna Lok. Even if we want to go anywhere, it's a journey. It could be a short journey, it could be a long journey. If it's within Taipei City, it could be a journey of 15, 20 minutes. It could be, if we are going to the south, it could be a journey of 7, 8 hours. Now we are going to the spiritual sky. It's far away. There's no question of going a few thousand miles away from this planet and returning. This sort of journey is not very heroic. We have to penetrate the whole material universe. Golok Vrindavan is beyond this material sky. It's in the spiritual sky. So we have to do this journey. This we cannot do by spaceships, but by Krishna consciousness. One who is absorbed in Krishna consciousness and who at the time of death thinks of Krishna is at once transferred there. If we at all want to go to that spiritual sky and cultivate eternal blissful life full of knowledge, we will have to begin now to cultivate a Satchidananda body. We are cultivating our body by our mind. We are already creating our future body by our desires. Right now, by our desires, we are creating our future bodies. So why not create a spiritual body? We will have to begin now to cultivate a Satchidananda body. That's the spiritual body, eternal, blissful life full of knowledge. It is said that Krishna has Satchidananda body, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. And we also have a similar body of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, but it is very small and it is covered by the dress of matter. So Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. That's why we also have our Satchidananda, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is unlimited. We are very, very small. We are very small. And right now, we are covered by this material body. We ourselves, the soul, we are inside this body. That soul is Satchidananda. If somehow or the other we are able to give up this false dress, we can reach that spiritual kingdom. If once we can attain that spiritual world, return is not necessary. Yam prapya na nivartante. So just as we were reading earlier, we need a suitable body to stay in a particular atmosphere. We need to have like an aquatic body to stay in the water. We need to have a bird body to fly in the air. We need to have then a body which can live on the earth if we are living on the earth. Similarly, on the sun planet, need a particular body to live on the sun planet. So similarly, if we want to go to the spiritual world, we need to have the suitable body. And that suitable body is the spiritual body. That's our true self. We are the spirit souls. We are spiritual sparks. And this spiritual spark has a spiritual body. Now, if we remain in the Brahmajyoti, we remain as spiritual sparks. The spiritual body is not developed. But if we enter into any of the spiritual planets, the spiritual body is developed. And we do not need to return to this material world after we go back home. Everyone then should try to go to that Dhamma Paramam, Krishna's supreme abode. Krishna himself comes to call us, and he gives us literatures as guidebooks and sends his bona fide representatives. We should take advantage of this facility given to human life. Yeah, Krishna is appealing again and again. We just read so many verses in Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is inviting us, come home, come to my supreme abode. His entire Krishna Leela is there for us to to hear about, so we can have a desire. Oh, wow, this is what Krishna's life in Krishna's abode is. I also want to go there. I also want to live there. It's like seeing a preview to a movie. We trailer to a movie. Before we watch the full movie, we like to see some trailer sometimes. What am I getting into? So like this, Krishna is coming himself and speaking about his abode. His devotees are coming and telling us about his abode. So somehow or the other, we should just get this desire. I want to go back. I want to go to Krishna Lok, to Golok Vrindavan. And this facility is there only for us till the time we are in a human body. If we are in an animal body, we don't have the intelligence to understand all this. The consciousness is more covered. For one who reaches that supreme abode, penances, austerities, yogic meditations, and so on are no longer required. And for one who does not reach it, all penances and austerities are a useless waste of time. So the goal of reaching why does somebody does yoga, meditation, austerity, penance? For what should it all be undertaken? It should be all undertaken so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. And if we are not by these processes not able to go back home, back to Godhead, then it's useless waste of time. It's like husking the grains of rice in which there is no rice at all. The husks are only there. Then it's like useless labor. No? Why are we doing it if we're not going to get the rice?
So in a
Yeah.
way, it's saying that penances, yogi meditations are useless. Is it?
As long as they are, only if they are helping us to go back home, back to Godhead, then they are useful. Otherwise, they're useless.
Who does not reach it, then they are.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it says, yeah. For one who does not reach it,
Yeah.
then penances and austerity. But in a way, anyway, right? Like they say, normally it's not recommended, right? Penances, doing all
Yeah.
the
Penances,
devotional service. Yeah?
austerities, just trying to be Krishna conscious is an austerity, Trying to
Okay.
follow Ekadashi, trying to fast on these
Mm.
special days, Janmashtami, these are austerities in Krishna
Austerities. Yeah.
consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah. And it's said that once you reach to the supreme abode, you don't need to do any more penance, austerity, yogic meditations. They are no longer required. Hmm. So
Mm.
the human form of life is an opportunity to get this boon, and it is the duty of the state, parents, teachers, and guardians to elevate those who have acquired this human form of life to attain this perfection of life. So it's our duty. It's our duty to develop our Krishna consciousness. We may take it, some may take, oh, it's just a hobby, or it's a way of life, or it's just some sort of a religion. No, it's our duty of every soul to revive our love of Krishna. Simply eating, sleeping, mating, and quarreling like cats and dogs is not civilization. We should properly utilize this human form of life and take advantage of this knowledge to prepare ourselves in Krishna consciousness so that 24 hours of the day we will be absorbed in Krishna and at death at once transfer to that spiritual sky. Prabhupada would say that we need to mold our lives in such a way that we can think of Krishna always. It's not that we stopped activity. We don't have to stop activity. It's artificial to stop all activity. We won't be able to stop all activity, but we mold our activities in such a way that we are able to remember Krishna. Purusha sa parapartha bhaktya labhayastva ananya yasyanta sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is unattainable, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he's present in his abode, he's all pervading and everything is situated within him. Gita 8:22. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, text 22. The Supreme Lord, he is greater than all. God is greater than everyone else. No one is equal to or greater than God. We may pretend we are God, we may want to become God, we may, imitate him, but we are not God. Only God is God. He is greater than all. And how can we attain him? By unalloyed devotion. By devotion, it's only by devotion that we can begin to understand Krishna. Although he's present in his abode, he's all pervading and everything is situated within him. So he's there in Krishna Lok, in Golok Vrindavan, and yet he is all pervading. He's omnipresent. How is he omnipresent? As Paramatma is omnipresent. Everything is situated within him. Everything is situated on the Brahman. There's nothing that is not situated on the Brahman. Brahman is a feature of Krishna. Paramatma is a feature of Krishna. Any questions or comments? What we've been reading?
No, very clear.
Very powerful statement. Just eating, sleeping, mating, quarreling is not what we are supposed to do, right?
Mm.
It's not civilization. Yeah.
Mm. This one, right? And that we should
Yeah, we should
properly
properly
utilize this human
that.
life. Mm. This human life is an opportunity. So, yeah, it's true. It's true. So we need to continue to hear and chant, hear and chant.
And as you say, like always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna.
Yeah.
That is a principle, right? A core principle.
Yeah, that's what the foundation,
Foundation
the
is,
scriptures are saying. That's the only two rules. That's the only rule. Always remember Krishna. And the what is the thing that we shouldn't do is never forget Krishna.
forget Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and joining in. Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.